It's a full moon. I came on the mic just to murder beats, and now I'm ludicrous to disturb the peace. And now I look at rappers like a herd of sheep, and when I look around I get the thirst to eat. Throw rhymes like knives to the first to bleed. Speak under your breath if you heard of me. Nobody burning me up being born with this.
Welcome to the Body Bag Podcast. I'm your host, Broke Rider Dave. And with me, like always, goes Chris Thomas.
It's good, everybody.
And today we also have a special guest, Christopher Frost.
Hey, welcome
How are
back.
Welcome back. Yes.
He has become our newest regular. Used to be Haley, and now it is Chris. I think he might have the most time here on the podcast.
Yeah. I think, last time we tied with like Haley and Spencer. So
Jamie. No, I think it was Jamie.
Is it? Yeah.
But we're always happy to have you on, Christopher. Thanks for coming back.
Our
on.
favorite guest, yeah.
I appreciate it. I think this is the fourth time.
Well, we had you for The Descent, My Bloody Valentine, and you were on with Spencer when we did the Haunted House.
That's
so
right.
this is
number
This
4.
is number four.
number 4, yeah.
And it took us 4 tries, but we're now actually going to be talking about something other than 396.
Yes. Yes.
Not that we, don't like talking about 396, but it's cool that we can now talk about. I think your books are also ones that I probably read the most of in anticipation for the interview.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
But oh damn it! I said that I was going to stop talking, and then I immediately started taking over. Dave, talk, take it away.
Yeah. Yeah, we appreciate being able to read your short story before it comes out. Walk in the Desert.
Yep.
Do you have a
That's
date
right.
when you? Yeah. Do you have a date when you're going to release that, or?
I am shooting for December. I'm sorry, not December. October 28th, right before
Halloween.
Halloween. Yep. I
Yeah.
have a live book signing in New Hampshire.
Ooh.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm gonna have it ready for that.
It's funny when you said it to us. I was like, oh, a walk in the desert. Oh, that's very somber, poetic even. Cheeto fingers. I was like, oh, okay.
The very first line, yeah,
Che-
brings up Cheetos.
Cheetos.
Cheetos. Yeah, not messing around with the Cheetos.
Yeah. No, as someone that has had experience walking in the desert in the middle of the night, you being from the Northeast, I think you kind of caught that ambiance like right on the head.
Did I? Good.
Yeah, because it could be like I kind of love it because it's so quiet and so dark. It's very peaceful, but it could also be very creepy because you will hear some things that don't make sense.
Yeah, I can imagine. One thing I don't want to.
Yeah.
No, sorry. It's just one spot I don't ever want to visit in my life.
Oh, it's my favorite spot and like favorite type of climate that I have is like the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like really excited for this one. What made you decide to take your stories to this location?
So it was back when we owned the restaurant, before COVID hit, and that destroyed our small business. The temperature was in the summer was like 117, and a coworker and I were just like joking around about being stuck in the desert, and that's kind of where it brewed from there.
Okay.
Something I wanted to ask you, since we did talk about 396 last time, and that was about a father, recovering addict. This one is a group of teenagers.
Yeah.
And lower, kind of a mixed bag, but the main character is definitely like lower class, lives in a trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that you work on other stories, but do you find it hard to like change gears? Like, all right, I was from the perspective of this father, and he's, he's this and that. Now I gotta switch gears and start talking like a teenager.
No, not really. I mean, these ideas just kind of come and they start flowing, and they either make it to the end or they end up on the chopping block. But I knew it was going to be a short story. It turned out a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, obviously, because it's a novella. But I just took a lot from, I was an 80s kid. So I just took a lot from my experiences to give it to the teens in the story.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that because I don't think like the time set's specific, but it seemed like it was like set in like the 90s or the 80s. Is that something you were going for?
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to make it a little bit different than the classic. Oh, suddenly my cell phone doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, really? I mean, cell phones kind of work
All the
everywhere
time now, yeah.
Right. It's kind of a stretch to keep doing that.
Yeah.
So I said it back in the 80s. I think by the time I had a car and was tooling around with my friends, it was the 90s. But I remember my babysitter and her friends piling into a car and shoving us in the back seat and blasting Poison, blasting Bon Jovi. And I just kind of gripped from there and wrote it into the story.
So what do you have against Bret Michaels?
I actually have nothing against Bret Michaels, which is the funny thing. I told Haley that I actually hung out with Bret Michaels before.
Oh, really?
Before he kind of had his, resurgence.
Uh-huh.
And the guy is incredibly cool.
Okay.
He's really laid back and he's really cool. I don't know why I trashed Bret Michaels in the story, but it just kind of came out that way.
Because one of my questions was, do you ever fear that you're never going to be able to meet Bret Michaels face to face once he reads that Branda can't stand his voice?
Yes. Yes, I hope Bret Michaels never reads this. Or at least listens to your podcast first and goes, oh, okay, it was just for the story.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, what the hell, man? I thought we were cool.
Yeah, I remember when I met you and I played at the Cage in New Hampshire. But now you're kind of a dick, so...
Yeah.
I that was kind of leading into another question. When you get that specific, like, of what a character does and doesn't like, do you ever fear about stepping on any particular toes? Like, I mean, they have to have personalities and likes and dislikes, but do you ever fear that somebody's going to read and be like, oh, they probably think that I personally don't like them or don't like this?
Yeah, no, I definitely do, especially with anybody that kind of people that I know that might see characteristics of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to think like, oh, he doesn't like me or these things bother him. It's like, no, I'm just taking elements. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a personal attack on you. It's not a personal attack on Bret Michaels. It's just
the person just had to like and not like something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's one character's perspective. It's not the overall story unless you really piss me off and I destroy you in fiction, but that's it.
Right.
But speaking of that, like the main character's name in this book was like Tylan.
Yeah.
Tylon, yeah.
Tylan. How did you come up with a name like that? Because that's kind of unique.
Yeah, I don't think I know any Tylans.
Yeah.
The name, well, I mean, the warning that it's no characters are referenced and it's just pure fiction and coincidence.
Yeah.
But I may or may not have known a Tylon, and he may or may not have influenced this story.
May or may not.
Okay.
May or may not. I plead the fifth.
There you go.
I would say like any of my writings, I reference like anybody. If I'm writing about like something, I use nothing but people's names that I know.
Gotta go with what you know sometimes.
Yeah, you do. You write what you know, and then you just got to be careful that people don't find out and see the similarities.
Speaking of what you know, throughout the adventure of Tylon, Dylan, Brenda, Jazzy, and the crew, we get introduced to the myth of the hooked hitcher.
Yeah.
Now, this being the 80s, which was an era of like a lot of serial killers, was that based on a specific one? Gary Ridgway comes to mind.
No, that was Haley kind of made me put that in there. Well, not made, but suggested very firmly
Mhm.
to put a segment in there, and I kind of did more of a Ted Bundy thing,
Okay.
where where they caught him based off the broken tail light.
Oh yeah.
And she said that was too obvious, so I kind of came up with the whole, killing hookers, and I remember the urban legend when I was a kid that, if you're making out over at the point,
That's who I thought it was based off of.
yeah, it was kind of that, the old urban legend that,
Yeah.
back in the '80s scared the crap out of you because you didn't have cell phones, and you all knew one spot that
Lover's
you
Lane.
could kind of
Yeah.
right, like up here in New Hampshire, it was the Manchester Airport.
Yeah, it is funny because when I at first when I saw the hooked hitcher, I was like, oh, that kind of reminds me of the old story of oh, I felt a scratching on the door, and then when I went and opened it up when I got home, I saw a hook on the handle, but then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, he's probably called hooked hitcher because he kills hookers.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I just kind of fed off that whole '80s, the '80s slasher flicks, the '80s urban legends.
You got the feel down right, and this is also cool. Well, go on, Dave. I'll get back to this '80s discussion in a second, but you go ahead.
Just get more into like I don't want to give it away, but like the main antagonist of the story.
Yeah.
Like, how much did you research into like that mythos for the creature?
And let us know if you want us to cut anything out so we don't give anything accidentally away.
Yeah.
No, I'll be vague and give it and put enough information in there to hook people. I like the idea of it. I thought that the myth itself was a little tame. If you actually look it up, it's kind of just feeding off like goats and livestock, and so I kind of grew it to a larger degree.
Yeah, I know. So I'm like, jeez.
Yeah, so I made it a lot bigger and a lot scarier, and it feeding off virgin blood.
Yeah.
So yeah, the mythology. I mean, I've gone to Mexico plenty of times, and I've heard the legends, and it's just always kind of been tame to me. It's kind of like Gilman is one of my favorite Universal monsters, but he's pretty tame.
Yeah.
There's so much more you could explore there. And Guillermo del Toro did that, sure, with Shape of Water, but that can also be a lot more horrific.
Right.
That is true. Yeah. Because you definitely did amp it up, and I think that fits perfectly for the story. So
yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely liked the creature feature aspect to it.
I love me a good creature. Like that's actually kind of been a theme between this and when we had Julie on.
yeah.
Yeah, and even your Tremors that I was just listening to.
Oh yeah. It's
such a great movie.
Yeah, it's also the season of Kevin Bacon apparently too.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Oh.
But
I mean, Tremors, like you guys said, it's just classic. It's just that monster feature.
Yeah, it's impossible to watch Tremors and be in a bad mood at the same time.
and you never hear it you never hear it in the discussion either, which always is a bummer to me. Like when people talk like classics and stuff, it's always like when you talk about creatures, you got your Jaws, you got the Thing, and like Graboid's right here too.
Yeah.
Right, and it's really up there. And I think when somebody brings it up in a group, everybody's like, "Oh shit, yeah,
That movie.
I forgot about that." It's like so easy for people to forget about such an epic movie.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, when you bring it up, everybody knows it from heart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I will say something. It might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think Tremors, story-wise, is better than Jaws. Like Jaws, like they build suspense and they make you like actually feel scared. But the story of Tremors, I think, is better than the story in Jaws.
I think Tremors is pretty much Jaws on the land, though.
Yeah, but it's got more. Not just more comedy, but there's more of a woven story into it.
Yeah,
they evolve and everything.
Right, where Jaws is just kind of like, oh shit, don't go in the water.
Yeah, it's like shut down the beach. No,
Right.
shut down the beach. No.
I was just rewatching Jaws like a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh man, fuck this mayor.
Yeah. And then if
Yeah,
you watch Jaws
absolutely.
2 right afterwards, it's like the same movie,
Yeah.
except you get more shark.
Yep.
I'm like, the mayor, did you learn anything from what happened in the last movie?
No, we have to have this open for tourist season.
Absolutely, and that's New England for you.
That is true. Yeah.
I mean, we got great whites all the time, and beaches stay open.
I just play it safe. There's plenty of water parks over here. That's the one surefire way to never run into a shark. I'll just hang out in the water parks.
But sharks
Yeah.
are actually like a lot nicer than you see in the movies, so.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sharks are actually pretty nice creatures, but yeah. Just misunderstood.
They're just misunderstood. Say that when they're like chomping
Ripping off your arm.
Yeah, ripping
Yeah.
your arms
Yeah.
off. Delving away slightly from the creature aspect, quick question about the actual characters, the group of friends.
Yeah.
When you started talking about the 80s, it also reminded me, because we did Summer of 84 here.
Yeah.
We did that review. And one of the things that I said was kind of an issue, but then I kind of warmed up to it, was like you have a group of teenagers. Well, in Summer of 84, they were a little bit younger. Just the use of like profanity amongst teenagers. When you were writing the dialogue for the characters, did you ever at all feel like maybe it was a little much? It wasn't to me, because when I felt that when I was watching Summer of '84, but then I remembered I was a teenager. I cursed like in every sentence I had. I would speak.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think when your parents finally let you go with your friends on your bike, I mean, I remember every other word was like, "Hey, you want to go to the fucking general store and fucking buy some fucking candy?"
Yeah.
And you're just
Yeah.
you're just dropping swears because you know them and you can, because no parents are around.
Yeah. And because I think it's also just like a regional thing too, because I watched a behind the scenes thing of the movie Good Will Hunting, and they were talking about how originally they wanted them to cut down the amount of fucks that the characters were saying. And he was like, yeah, but we're from Boston. It was like that's just kind of how we talk.
Yeah, that's such a New England thing. We just swear a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's left over from the Brits being over here, but I watch a lot of British movies, and it's the same thing over there. We just cuss a lot.
It's so funny, because if my younger teenage self heard me like criticizing, oh man, you kids like curse too much. I'm like, shut up, nerd. Like,
Yeah.
shut up. What are you like? Ugh, is that what I became? You criticizing me for cursing? Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I tried. It was the one thing that I didn't worry about, and Haley, when she was editing it, never even touched on it. So
Mhm.
I think it was just enough and not overkill.
Right. Yeah, that was just like, yeah. When you were like writing it, yeah, did you ever go like either that's too much, or this could use a little bit more fuckery in this?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I had to go back and realize how I talked, and
Mhm.
that's definitely a central New England thing. Is we just swear. I've seen the most. I have friends that are ridiculously educated and masters and
Yeah.
doctorates, and they're dropping F-bombs over everything.
Well, you have a character, Dylan, who's talking about going to Ivy League, and he's dropping just as many.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's just kind of a regional thing, I guess. I mean, I don't know how the Harvard kids are down there, but
I wouldn't know. I
Yeah.
don't hang out with any.
Don't know that many Harvard kids.
Yeah, me either.
We're riffraff.
Yeah. One time I met someone from Harvard. Really pissed them off because I just sat there and acted like I'd never heard of it.
Harvard. Was that a trade school?
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
saw their face, but I was like, "Is that a community college?"
Yeah. Pronounce it wrong too.
Yeah.
What is that? Was that an online school or something?
Right.
Speaking of which, shout out to Haley because she was also the one who edited this.
Yes.
So,
Twins and talent.
Twins and
Yes,
talent.
yeah,
Yeah,
Twins and
appreciate
talent.
them. Yeah.
always have a chance to shout them out whenever we get a chance. Because I think when I opened up the documents, I had seen all the notes of like
Yes.
all the scratch out and stuff like that. Is y'all's relationship, editor and writer, you ever butt heads of when it's like, yeah, but I need to have that in there, or do you usually end up taking her advice?
No, I take a lot of her advice. I think the only thing is she would ask for like paragraphs here or there, and I think I was just tapped, and
Right.
I was like, no, I can't add more. I'm tapped. I mean, when you read your own story 20 times, going through it over and over again, I think Haley and I went through it maybe. I mean, it at least had to be a dozen times, to the point where I was, by the end, I was like, I just wanted to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not doing it.
I cannot give you what you want.
Yeah,
Right.
There's nothing left of the story.
I am tapped.
You see, that's one thing that I think that I would run into, like opposite wise, where I think, did I put enough? I fear that I'd be over explain. I fear of running into the problem of over explaining.
Yeah, I did in parts. There was a whole chapter that Haley just felt was completely unnecessary,
Right.
and I was like, nah, I disagree. And I tried to rewrite it, and I think by the third or fourth time, I just ended up agreeing with her, and I cut the whole thing. And I have a document on my computer, Kill Your Darlings, where I just put everything that I cut out, of significance, like you're talking like pages or chapters, and I cut it and put it in there, and that was the end of it. It died. But I mean, I couldn't have done it without Haley. She was phenomenal. And, her sister Hannah, she had a lot of input, and they just did an amazing job. And I think without them, the polished end version of the story wouldn't have been the way it originally was.
Dave,
Friend of the show, so everyone, make sure to go follow Twins and Talent on Instagram.
is there anything else there, Dave, that you? I think
it might be time to stir some echoes.
And last thing before we do that, and you said, just as a reminder to everybody, this is coming out
October
the week of
20th.
Yeah.
Yep, 2 days, 3 days before Halloween.
Is this going to have physical? You said this is going to have physical copies too.
Yep, when the company that I paid to format it gets their head out of their ass.
Well then that's definitely going in the season end giveaway. Then I'll hit you up for that.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be that and another copy of 396. So it'll, lucky person will get 2 Christopher Frost books.
Yeah, I'll send it as soon as I have the physical copies. I'll send them out.
All right, everybody, and again, keep an eye out. It is A Walk in the Desert. Time for movie talk. It's it's the season of Kevin Bacon.
It is.
Kevin Bacon. Oh yeah.
Which automatically, despite what I would think about this movie, it's already going to get a couple points just for having Kevin Bacon in it. For me,
Yeah, how can it not?
Yeah.
my favorite kind of bacon. I like to start my morning off
Super
with
talented.
So yeah, 5 minutes into watching this, I was like, "Damn it, Kevin Bacon, where you been, man? This dude is freaking charismatic as hell."
This is like
sure.
prime Kevin Bacon.
1999
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Movie's called Stir of Echoes, and just a quick one-sentence sum up before we start, diving in if you don't want to get too spoiled. Essentially, Kevin Bacon is Tom, and he gets hypnotized, and he starts going insane. Oh yeah, and ghosts, and a little bit of The Shining. So
Yeah.
So you got a little bit of everything. It was really funny. Like halfway through the thing, I was like, "Oh, we even have our own Halloran."
Yep, sure. The similarities are a little more than similar.
Yeah.
But this one takes place in my neck of the woods in Chicago, so
and in my favorite decade, the 1990s.
90s. Yeah.
So, what made you pick Stir of Echoes?
It's. I read the book by Richard Matheson,
There's a
and
book.
yeah, the book came out. I don't know. Matheson was writing back in the 70s, I think, and it's one of the movies that actually is incredibly accurate, and if not better than the novel.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
And when this is also directed by David Coop, and I was like, why do I remember that name for? Why does David Coop sound so familiar? He's the writer for Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible, Secret Window, War of the Worlds, a lot of movies this guy's wrote for. I was like, oh, that's why I know him. He's been in everything.
Yeah, a lot of blockbusters.
A lot of blockbusters. He's the writer of my pretty much a lot of my childhood.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and this was also we watched this on Amazon Prime, or at least I did. And
with the freebie, and the
The
commercials.
freebie.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah,
only
they throw in the commercials right at the best parts.
and not only was this a Kevin Bacon movie, the commercials were Kevin Bacon. Kevin,
The EV.
yeah,
yeah.
he was selling Hyundais on mine. I was like, oh, so these are planned out.
Yeah, the EVs.
Yeah,
As he
such
calls
random
them.
spots they'll put those
Yeah.
ads in, though.
So I guess starting out, we'll kind of go through this, but essentially, Kevin Bacon is me in this movie. I am very much skeptic. I would have been that guy, like just busting balls, like go ahead, hypnotize me.
Yeah.
Well, first off, do you believe in stuff like that, hypnotism and that kind of business? Or I don't, but it's intriguing.
No, absolutely, I believe in it.
Oh, okay. I'm
definitely like a true believer in that. Yeah,
I'm skeptical. I mean, I don't, patronize anybody who does. In fact, I'm super skeptic, man. Meaning, if life was a movie, I would be the guy that the ghosts and everything would be happening to, just because it's like, and then he became a believer in the end.
Yeah.
So I would have been Kevin Bacon, like, yeah, hypnotize me, stab me with needles. But he has a kid,
Yeah.
and another one on the way. And I don't. This was Chicago. You said it was in Chicago, Dave. Is that? Where
Yeah,
it was?
Yeah, it
it's in
was.
Chicago. Yeah,
I don't know where. I don't know where in Chicago, but apparently it's Party City every single night.
Yep.
And oh god, they have a friend. I hated Lisa. They have a friend, the hypnotist.
his sister-in-law.
Yeah, she's so obnoxious.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought so. I was like, oh my god.
Like, you get introduced to her just being completely rude to Kevin Bacon's character.
Always busting in
she
his
just
balls.
shits on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, what the hell?
And in all honesty, kind of the cause of all of these problems. This could have remained a quiet little town, but she had to go opening doors where they didn't belong. Opens up Kevin's mind to the power of, I don't know, ghosts. I don't know if they explain it like in the book, but she just opens up his mind to, I guess, the other worlds or whatever around him.
Yeah, but if his mind didn't get opened up, their son would have just been terrorized by that ghost.
Yeah, so it's a ghost movie, and so when I saw that there was a kid, I was gonna ask you, being a parent now, does the fact that now there's a kid involved kind of like amplify like the horror aspect for you, being a dad yourself?
Yes. Yeah, it was kind of like when I was writing 396 and putting Aubrey in it. There's definitely it's definitely an element where you want to take care of that kid and nurture them and make sure that they're safe, and that's kind of something Tom didn't do in this movie. He was way more aggressive and like yelling at Jake like why aren't you telling me this shit, and shaking the kid.
I guess it's just because I don't have any kids, because I was sitting there like, shut up, kid.
Yeah,
He said
but
they're
that was
talking.
very much like was it 90s parenting, 90s 80s parenting too?
Yeah, where you would just leave your kid and go down the block.
Yeah,
Yeah,
put the baby her next to him, go across the street.
Right.
Yeah,
and they don't necessarily have the best choice in babysitters either.
No.
choose one and she takes the kid,
Yeah, Kevin Bacon is essentially seeing
but for a
ghosts.
solid reason though.
Solid reason, but I mean, like Kevin Bacon's seeing ghosts, and he gets his mind opened up. He starts seeing ghosts, and he starts getting visions, and it's ruining sexy time with his wife. man's frustrated. Dude's slowly starting to lose his mind, starting to see all these, like, he's getting hallucinations and whatnot. Now, I don't know about you
And
guys.
at times it seemed like his wife was more worried about him missing work than the fact that he's fucking losing his shit.
I'm glad. Okay, good.
Right.
I was like, this woman.
She's like, oh, they're gonna start docking him now. He's used all his sick days.
I was like, your
Like,
husband
dude,
is losing his mind over here in the corner. Like I know you're frustrated. Like, it interrupted happy time in the bed. I can understand you being a little frustrated from that, but I mean, dude's losing
Go
his
to the
mind.
bathroom and fix it.
Yeah, fix that. Show a little empathy. Like,
Yeah, he's going mental. Like, I don't know, call a shrink, call your doctor.
and,
I liked how they did that, where up until like the last bit of the movie, there it kind of seemed like it could go either way. Like there's actually ghosts, or he's losing his mind.
Right.
Yeah. And Lisa's being of no help. They go to her a couple times, and she keeps touting how much of an expert she is on this, but she has been giving him no help. Like, just
Yeah, she's such an amateur.
Yeah.
and even making fun of the dude, saying, "Oh, he's going crazy." Just, I love that they introduced the fact that Maggie is his wife, right?
Yeah.
Maggie's the name of his wife. You have Tom, who's playing as Kevin Bacon. You have his wife Maggie. Lisa is her sister. They introduced that she's pregnant, Maggie, but then that kind of goes nowhere, really.
It goes
mention
nowhere
it
at all.
again. Yeah.
I thought that was definitely going to come into play, like.
She's sporting crop tops
Yeah.
with her very flat belly after she's 6 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, and Lisa is told before Kevin Bacon, which, come on now, that's
Douchey.
Yeah.
That's douchey.
And was Maggie drinking at the parties? I didn't really pay attention to that. But
I don't think they showed her.
yeah, they were at like a couple of parties after this too. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's why I was like, they're going to parties like every day. I was like, but meanwhile, I mean, I get the kid or knock off Danny Torrance. He sees the ghost, no problem. Apparently, he has no problem communicating with the spirits. He doesn't need his mind unlocked.
He has a gift, yeah.
So he's having full-on conversations with this ghost, who was played by Jennifer Morrison, who she was in our Urban Legends review.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool. I was like, I didn't know that was her.
Who played her?
Yeah.
I thought she looked familiar.
I was like, oh my god, that's Emma Swan from Once Upon a Time, aka the woman from Urban Legends.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in a lot. She blew up.
This was around the time she was starting to blow up too. Yeah.
I didn't know that she was in like a number of horror movies.
Yeah, and I think she was on House too.
Oh yeah, she was. She was one of the
inner
doctors.
circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did Surf Echoes, and the next movie she did was Urban Legends.
Oh yeah, so she was definitely kind of on a trajectory.
Yeah.
But Kit's having full-on conversations with ghosts here, and she's, instead of being non-cryptic and just saying, "Hey, my body's in the wall," she
She's
decides,
just like dig.
Yeah, dig. Which she shouldn't have said dig. She should have said smash or break through. Having Kevin Bacon in the backyard digging up holes in his basement and in his backyard.
Yeah, this is probably my one problem with the movie. They spend way too much fucking time in this movie of just Kevin Bacon digging.
I honestly don't care. Like, Kevin Bacon made this movie for me because Kevin Bacon was acting his ass off.
Yeah, he dug out his entire backyard, smashed up the floor of his house, drilled through the concrete in his basement, dug that up, and then he found her in the wall.
Yeah, and then that and so he's losing his mind. He's trying to figure out what this ghost wants. And
meanwhile, his kid seems to know everything.
Kid seems to know everything, and kind of like what you said, he was starting to get a little bit like, all right, lay off the kid a little bit. He was like shaking the kid, like, tell me what she's saying, and and whatnot. My favorite part of the movie, the kid says, I don't want to tell you, it's scaring mommy, and it cuts to Kevin Bacon's face at the most like dumbfounded look on his face. It's just like,
yeah.
That's where I audibly laughed out loud and said, "Man, fuck you, kid." Just tell him what he needs to know.
Well, because right at the beginning of the movie, when he's talking to the camera, he's having this full-on conversation with her, and what's it feel like to be dead? And she answers him. It's like, well, you can obviously communicate with the kid a lot more, so
Yeah.
give dad some direction.
Draw dad a map.
Not gonna lie, in that opening scene,
Mhm.
I thought when Kevin Bacon went downstairs, I thought that kid was getting drowned in the tub. With the conversation he was having, what's it like to be
Oh,
dad?
yeah.
I was like, oh, that kid's about to
I
drown
could
in
see that too.
bathtub.
I kind of felt a little bit the same way. Like, oh, they're gonna have like this tragedy, and like their son's gonna be speaking like from beyond the grave or something.
Yeah, or if
Yeah,
he's
and I
already-
thought that's why they had that prolonged conversation downstairs while their son's just upstairs in the towel waiting on his pajamas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kid was something else.
And the kid talks in very vague speak. At one point, they need to go to their.
I'm afraid of the feathers.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
too. But his parents need to go. Are going out for their like third party of the week, and they get a babysitter.
Oh, when they're going to the football game?
They go to
Yeah.
the football game, and they hire a babysitter, which the kid suggests via Ghost and
Samantha.
Samantha.
And
yes.
then he stops speaking vague and just tells the babysitter fucking everything.
The kid gives you just
Yeah.
enough information to make you upset at him, because he's like
Enough to kidnap them.
apparently enough to kidnap him, which I can understand because he brings up the ghost's name, Samantha. We find out Samantha is this ghost of a girl who went missing some months ago, or it was
It's
either
the
weeks or
babysitter's sister.
it's the babysitter's sister.
6 months ago, yeah.
And I can understand, like, if that's your, if you're the sister and you hear like your sister's name and I've been looking for her, I can understand you feeling some kind of way. But surely there's a better alternative than kidnap the child and take him away to some unknown location, which I don't know where she was planning on taking him.
Yeah, and then Kevin Bacon gets visions that his son's being taken.
Saves his kid,
Yeah.
and wife is still on his case.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Like,
Yeah,
how'd you know?
she was definitely not supportive, even though she had all these facts. I mean, him rescuing his kid, him knowing the girl, her son communicating with Neil.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's talk about Neil for a second. So we get introduced to Halloran.
Yeah.
Of the movie. Kid randomly stumbles across a funeral procession going on, and I
Right.
guess much like The Shining, somebody can just tell that you have it if they have The Shining
Yeah.
too. Like, oh, your kid can see ghosts. Me too. And
Let's be friends.
let's be friends.
Yeah.
That's like a little over halfway through the movie. Kevin Bacon's
Yeah.
like 2 minutes away from like going completely schizophrenic, and the wife knows. The wife is somewhat of a believer. Like she knows that something's
Yeah.
going on. She's not like playing a skeptic, which is why you would think that she'd be a little more sympathetic to what's going on here.
No, she's just like, I just don't want to deal with this shit.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah.
She seems more jealous that Kevin Bacon and his son have like a little thing going on. Like, oh, how come I can't see ghosts?
Yeah.
Right. And why are you two so buddy and I'm
you so-
left out?
Why are you so close with your son for?
Yeah.
Right.
What are you doing there? Being a father? The hell's
what,
wrong with you?
What are you doing being a father over there? Although the funny part, I did find something a little funny about him having some father-son bonding time in the backyard. Like, yeah, he's helping me dig. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
He's
The
helping me
body's-
look for a dead body.
Yeah.
Don't worry. The body's not over there, but he thinks he's helping. So
Yeah. Yeah, has him in the backyard.
I mean, to a certain extent, I can understand. It certainly seemed like an argument meant for a different circumstance, because he even before all this stuff is going down, he's giving up his band. He's a good dad. He's a good
Yeah.
provider. He's willing to give up his band that he was going to do. He says, "I'm going to work overtime because finds out that she's pregnant. I want you to
Yeah,
take
why
time."
she don't-
Very blue collared, yeah.
And he's like, I want you to take off time, honey. I'll work overtime. You need to have some maternity leave, all this business. And but you can tell he's also kind of struggling with like, I don't want. He's kind of like Tylan in a way, where he's like, I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life, kind of character. Feels very much like stuck in working like this blue collar kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't think I'd become this ordinary.
Yeah, and and he's like, I need to do this. This is important. And then she's complaining, what do you mean our life is ordinary? I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, you know how your life is ordinary.
Yeah.
It's like, let's not pretend like, I mean, it's like, you know what I mean when I say that. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
all right.
Yeah.
This is me dialing it back 10% now.
Yeah.
Go on, Dave.
Yeah. Just this whole time you see Kevin Bacon like getting more and more obsessed with this. And then who was it that her grandmother died, right?
It was her mother, wasn't it? Or was it? No, it was her grandmother, I think.
Yeah. And she has to take them to the wake and everything.
Mhm.
And while
Yeah.
she's there, Kevin Bacon destroys the house. I just love the phone call between them.
No, don't come over.
No,
Right.
no, I'm not digging anymore. Pulling up floorboards.
Which, to be fair, he probably was done digging. He just neglected to say, "There's no more floor for me to rip up."
Right.
Yeah. And she's like, no, I'm going to come out there. I'll be there in like an hour. I'm just going to be outside. I'll honk. I'm going to come get you. He's like, shit.
I'm gonna rent a drill to start tearing into the floor.
I love
Yeah.
that he just starts going crazy.
Yeah, jackhammer.
He just starts maniacally laughing with a jackhammer. I was like, you know what? I'm just
You
all
hear
in
him
now.
outside of the house. He's just having a blast with it.
You know that ghost sat around all those hours watching him rip up his floor. Didn't give him any kind of indication. Hey, I'm actually in the wall over there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna watch
in
this
the
guy.
wall downstairs. In the wall, not on the floor. Yeah.
Which was Neil, right? Neil says basically he gives some advice to Maggie because at one point she's like, all right, well, this guy seems to kind of know what's going on, so let me ask her about what's going on with my husband. And he's like, this ghost is gonna stay pissed off until Tom does what the ghost wants. I'm like, well, the ghost ain't pulling its weight. telling him, like, I'm trying to make you not pissed off. You need to. Why are you talking to my son?
Yeah.
And you're just giving me vague hallucinations, bad dreams, and
And why isn't Neil coming over to lend a hand?
Yeah. And also, why is the wife getting more and more upset with Kevin Bacon about what he's doing after she talks to Neil?
yeah, it's like it's Neil's fault.
Like, now she knows what's going on. She's just like, whatever. Why are you digging?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, she should kind of know what's going on here.
And then he finally finds the body by, like, happenstance.
Yeah, big spoiler warning right now for the way this ends. I thought the twist was going in a completely different direction. I thought the big twist was going to be, you know, his wife has been really angry at him and really wants him to, like, stop all this. What if she's the one who killed this ghost girl or something like that, and she's, like, angry because she doesn't want her husband finding out? And
Right.
that's what I thought the big twist was, because I was like, she's a lot angrier than you would think somebody would be over him doing basically what her sister is, you know, telling him to do.
Right. And let's blame the sister first. I mean, come on.
The sister, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I complained about the sister, like, this is just going to be Chris hating on the sister thing, but I mean, it is, like, I don't know if she was probably my least favorite character of this whole thing.
I don't know what just happened there, but in the middle of my talking, I just got booted out of the chat.
Oh, it's fine. You didn't miss anything. We're just talking about. I was just about to delve into how awful the sister is again.
Yeah. And
Oh,
the
yeah, she
acting
sucks.
and the acting from her was awful too. Like maybe if it was a different actress, it wouldn't have been so obnoxious, but she was just obnoxious.
Was she different in the book?
Not really. I think it's just the delivery. She kind of shit on him, but there was more reason. You know, when he says that he's, you know, he just felt he was ordinary.
Yeah.
That's kind of how she felt. Like, oh, my sister could do so much better. Why is she settling?
Which I kind of got a little bit of that.
yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, all right.
Not really. I just got the. I thought she just didn't like the guy at all. Like,
Well, that's what I felt.
sounded like a piece of shit. Yeah.
There was definitely tension, but then, you know, there was equal amount back and forth. So at first I was like, all right, well, is it hate that I'm feeling, or is it that they just bust each other's balls? That's their relationship. Like, you know, that's just kind of how they act towards each other. Like, I give him shit, he gives me shit, kind of thing. like friends would do.
Yeah. I mean, he was kind of a dick to her too.
Yeah.
Let's not overlook that.
Yeah, he
I
gives
mean,
it right back to her. So yeah,
he was definitely patronizing when he was like, "Yeah, do it to me, hypnotize me." Blah blah blah. You know, there was definitely some patronization there.
Yeah. Or when he tells her to go upstairs and change his son into his PJs.
yeah.
He's just like, "Can you just
Like,
get away from me?"
yeah. Like, just go upstairs and take care of my kid.
Yeah. But it turns out the big twist is that it's actually the neighborhood. I guess it was the neighborhood jocks, the one who were like up and rising football stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who, I guess they got drunk, tried to rape Jennifer Morrison's character. What was her name? Susan?
Samantha.
Samantha.
Yeah.
Samantha, and they accidentally kill her. Well, I mean, I say accidentally. I mean, you don't accidentally cover somebody's
Kill.
face with
Yeah.
Cover her face with plastic to make her be quiet, and then
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, she's dead. What a surprise!"
Oops.
Oh no. Yeah.
And then you got the parents covering the whole thing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Which,
Why you stick her in the wall, I don't really get. I mean, that's going to smell.
it took me a second.
I think they like kind of like mummified her type of thing.
And well, yeah, I mean, like, well, I don't. No, I agree, Chris. Why the wall? I mean, like,
Oh.
what? And you're gonna have. I mean, I can understand you trying to protect your kids and everything, but then we're gonna hide the body in the wall. That's serial killer shit. Like, not
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
like,
Yeah.
you know, we could bury her, or we could, you know, find a place and bury her, or you know, dump the body where like the police can find her and like some random thing. No, let's hide her in the wall like a psychopath.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Lake Michigan's like right there.
right.
that would've been-
It's Chicago. You can dump her.
Yeah, just dump her there. Yeah.
With the number of other bodies that the mob has thrown in there, like, I mean,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd say my only gripe with Kevin Bacon is if I found out, because he finds out, he gets a vision once he finds the body, gets a vision and sees basically everything, scene by scene of what happened, which could have used that days ago.
Yeah.
You know, I could have used those kind of clear visions yesterday.
Right.
The last thing I would have done is went to the boy's father.
Yeah, but that ended up working in his favor towards the end.
Yeah, but he didn't know it was going to. Like, the last thing I would have done is go, hey, look, you know, because the son tried to commit suicide.
Yeah.
There was two kids. One of them tried to commit suicide out of guilt. Tom goes over to his buddy Frank, who's the son's father. He's like, hey, I think I know why your kid tried to do that. The last thing I would have done.
And then he
because-
tells him all everything. Yeah.
yeah, let me show you. Come down here into the
And
basement.
let me
where
tell
no one
you
else can see
exactly the evidence that she has to convict your kid.
I mean, you have the body. Just call the cops. You don't
Yeah,
need to
call-
confront anyone.
Call the cops first. But don't give the guy an opportunity to be like, I, as the father, have just as much to lose because I helped cover this up.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So that ended up being the big twist.
And then the other boy and his father came. They're the ones that actually own Kevin Bacon's house.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how the two kids had access and everything. Yeah.
Because they were remodeling.
Yeah.
And yeah, they hear Kevin Bacon jackhammering away, like, and he automatically start thinking, "Uh-oh."
Oh, he's going for the body.
Which that wall wasn't really structurally sound anyway, because it took
No, it just kind of came down.
kind of came down with a little light tap of the sledgehammer. I mean, he found it by
Yeah.
accident.
Yeah.
But wife shows up, even though Kevin Bacon told her not to, and kind of saves the day a little
Saved
bit.
his life because they were about to kill him mob style. Face the floor, pillow behind the head, in front of the gun. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it finds out that the guy, the father, which I'm glad that they wrote this scene in, because when Tom says to Frank, "Hey, look, your son is responsible for this girl's murder," you see Frank pull out a gun, and I'm sitting here thinking, "Oh my god, is he gonna do exactly what I think he's gonna do?" But he's like, "No, just get out of here, man. Just get out." I was like, "Oh, okay, so he's not gonna be like, I'm gonna kill you." He's just like, so what does he just Kevin
You
Bacon
didn't
leaves.
shoot the gun. Yeah.
I guess he just shot the gun out of frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An anger shot.
But then he comes back and saves the day right when Kevin Bacon and Maggie are about to get killed. Pops 2 in the chest of his other guy and 2 in the chest of his son.
And then
Yeah.
he goes, they were going to kill you.
Yeah, and
No shit.
Well, at first I thought that was a vision, like at the beginning when, not the beginning, but earlier when Frank came in and said, they're going to kill you, and then
Yeah.
sat down on the stoop. So I kind of thought like, oh, is this just replaying what they had done earlier?
Because he says
Yeah.
that after all is said and done.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, these visions are just like inconsistent. They're helpful, but not really.
No.
Right.
Like I said, shining light.
I see that, but I just actually looked up. I have the books right next to me, so I went in the library and checked them out. And Stir of Echoes actually came out 19 years before The Shining.
But
Oh
it's-
wow.
Oh, you mean the book?
Yeah.
So maybe Stephen King got a little inspiration from Stir of Echoes, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was
Even
not
though
expecting that.
cinematically
Yeah.
the book's different.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here saying, man, Stir of Echoes stole from Shining. No, Shining stole from Stir of Echoes.
All the way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, basically, killers are dead. I guess we don't know what happens to Frank. I imagine he gets arrested.
Yeah, that'd be
Probably.
one again.
Yeah.
And a neighborhood is in shambles, and it is all Lisa's fault.
Yep.
Yeah.
If she'd have just let we could have just let sleeping dogs lie, and it would have just been one family that was
Torn apart, not three.
torn
Yeah.
apart. And you know what? I gotta say, I know shared trauma brings a couple close together, but I don't foresee Tom and Maggie lasting too much longer.
Oh, they
No.
seemed pretty happy when they were moving away.
Yeah, but
See
now
how long
the kids.
that lasts. Yeah.
Yeah, but now
Now the kid's going mental at the end.
and
Yeah. That was a great scene. Like every house they passed was speaking to him. The ghosts were speaking to him.
and it's
Yeah.
not like Kevin Bacon's mind is shut anymore. It's open.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be going crazy.
Right.
And she's still going to be resentful that those two have a little connection with each other.
Yeah, she's eventually going to get sick of that and move on.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe she'll have her sister hypnotize her too.
I wouldn't let Lisa anywhere near me again after like
No. Alienate her.
alienate her, because not only did she open my mind, but when I was
She made
under,
fun of him afterwards too.
she was making me embarrass myself in front of everybody. Like,
Yeah. Fucking terrible.
yeah. So all right.
Yeah, I mean, she just fucked your life over for a little bit.
Yeah.
Although I will say it's a happy ending because they're driving away, which means they're driving away from Lisa too. So
Yeah.
But is it happy? Because the kid's going mental on the way.
Yeah. You're gonna have to watch Stir of Echoes too, The Homecoming.
yeah, we found
Yeah, I
out.
pretend that doesn't exist.
Oh, is it bad?
Is it bad?
No, it's just one of those movies where I refuse
Oh, you
to see
haven't.
it.
Oh well, we're gonna.
Yeah,
I kind
some-
of just want to watch it for Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Well, now we're gonna have next time we have you on the show. We're gonna have that'll be fun. Let's have
You're going to force me to watch it?
let's have Chris on, and we'll all watch this as fresh. It'll be fresh for everybody, and let's see if because I like Rob Lowe. People love Rob Lowe,
Yeah, of course.
so
Yeah.
let's see. And I love Kevin Bacon, who is very much the saving grace for me for this movie. Let's see if
Yeah.
Rob Lowe can save the sequel.
Or we could do this. See which sequel's worse, The Descent 2 or Stir of Echoes 2.
I did tease that if I get creative control next season, we might do the season of sequel. So
I've yet to watch the sequel to The Descent, so I have no idea how bad that one is either.
Christopher, you said that you saw it, right?
Which one?
The Descent 2?
Oh, yeah, it's just as terrifying.
Oh wait, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic. Is it bad?
No, it is really good. It's kind of like Halloween, where Halloween 2 kind of wraps into the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns into kind of a 3-hour movie if you just watch them back to back. The Descent's kind of the Descent and Descent 2 is kind of the same way.
Is it a different group of people, or are they going with the?
No, it's the same cast.
Oh, I was like, because I know there's an ending version where she's still in the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where it starts. She's still in the cave.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I was like, how are they gonna have the same cast? Because didn't she escape in the? Oh, I forget. There's 2 different endings.
Yeah,
right.
she never gets out.
All right. Well, I had to.
You
got to
go by the alternate ending.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It's weird. That's the second movie where the alternate ending. Well, the only other one I can think of that we've mentioned is oh no, that's three. Mentioned the 1408 alternate ending and the I Am Legend alternate ending.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
If
the
that
alternate
ever,
yeah,
if
the
they ever
alternate
make
ending
a
seemed
sequel.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean that's I know we jumped all over the place, but that's kind of how it's been this season. But that's kind of Stir of Echoes, a little bit of and I learned that they ripped off, or The Shining ripped off Stir of Echoes. So
Yeah.
are we going to like scenes of the movie? Scenes, well, because there's no real kills of the movie other than the main one.
Yeah.
Right.
But did you guys have a favorite scene or something that stuck out?
I think my favorite scene is when they're going to the football game and he's just seeing the red from when the babysitter shows up
Mm-hmm.
and she's kind of creeped out by him because he's staring at her.
Yeah.
And then he just keeps seeing the red flashes and runs home already knowing what's happening.
I was wondering what the that filter was. Beware,
Child
this
in danger. Yeah.
child in
Yeah.
danger. Which, speaking of his hallucinations, real quick, did that mean anything? Like he had a vision of him losing his teeth. He had like just, or was just the ghost like fucking with him? Like just enjoyed doing that.
I think she was making him mimic what happened to her because she lost her tooth, they
tooth,
snapped
and-
her fingernails off.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I didn't see the tooth bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'd probably go with like the opening scene where the kid's like talking to the camera, but actually talking to the wall. Then you have Kevin Bacon just nonchalantly playing the guitar in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, which he can actually play guitar if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bacon Brothers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's also something. I was like, screw this kid trying to teach him. It's like, how about this note, Daddy? And I was like, kid,
Yeah.
I was like, kid, go to your room. Like, I'm
Yeah.
trying,
Get out of here.
let me
Don't
solve.
touch my guitar. Go away.
Yes. Which, what did the ghost tell him that or something, or was that just some of that undescribable shining power?
Kid being a kid, yeah.
I think I already said what my favorite scene was. Just that befuddled look on Kevin's face when he's like, "Kid, tell me, what did you say? What did you say, or what do you see?" And the kid's like, "I don't want to say because it's scaring mommy." And just the look of befuddlement on Kevin Bacon's face, like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scare your mom. I don't care.
Yeah.
I guess I don't care. Your mom's scared. Like, I'm scared.
I'm trying to get this all figured out so I can move on with my life.
I was like, she's not the one having visions. I am. And
Yeah.
Right.
little boy, why aren't you getting visions of your teeth falling out and,
Yeah.
and your nails getting ripped up? That's me.
Why is it so tame for you?
Exactly. Oh.
Because his shine is stronger, apparently.
Right.
Why don't we go ahead and break this movie down?
All right.
Well, Chris is aware of our 30 point scale, right? He's done the 30-point breakdown
Yeah.
with us, right?
I have, yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
it's 1 out of 10 with technicals, story, and enjoyment. Why don't you start off, Chris, first? Technicals.
8 for sure.
Technicals 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm right there with him at 8 for technicals.
I'm about at a 7. It was
Okay.
good. The
Yeah.
technicals weren't bad. I don't know. There was one really funny one where it shows Kevin Bacon kind of suspended in midair with sitting on a chair.
Yeah.
But
Oh, on his way to the screen.
yeah, I did like that whole thing of him being hypnotized, of pretend you're in a theater, black all around. It's great. I did like that bit. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't bad. Editing was fine too. Story.
I'm gonna stick with an 8.
What you agree, Dave?
I'm probably going to go with a 7.
6, a little above average. There was just some stuff in the story that I felt could have been explained a little bit more, like kind of like what you were talking about, the resentment between like the Kevin Bacon and Lisa, and I kind of wish they didn't really explain necessarily why Maggie was just so unsupportive, other than jealousy.
Yeah.
Right. She seemed to side with her sister a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think that the shining powers, which I'm sure it's called something else, Neil called it X-ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird name for it.
But I'm calling it the Shining.
Yeah.
It was very undescript. Like, is it just that he can talk to ghosts? Other times, it's like you're getting psychic visions of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Wasn't really explained as much as I would have liked, and
Felt like they could have had Neil come in and like help Kevin Bacon,
yeah,
like kind of
Doc
figure
Holliday.
out how to
yeah, Doc, yeah. Yeah, so
clue in on these visions. Yeah.
so that's why it gets a little bit of a lower for me.
Okay.
And enjoyment.
Enjoyment for me is a 10. You know I love these ghost stories.
Okay. 10.
Alright.
I don't know. I don't think me and Dave have ever rated anything a 10.
No, I'm probably back to. I'm an 8 on enjoyment. I really enjoy this movie. So for a ghost story, it's one of the top tier ones.
Yeah, I'm the minority on this one. I said 5.5, and that's entirely because of Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon on screen, like I enjoy Kevin Bacon in anything. I don't know. Lisa just like I know this is also personal preference, just because Ghost. It combined two things that are always iffy with me: ghost movies and kids.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a whole season of Chris hates kids in season 1. I don't know. The kid, he was very unhelpful. I really, he could have helped at any point. Just been like, all right, Daddy, I'll talk to the ghost.
Yeah.
But that's all just personal preference for me.
Yeah.
I can understand if you like it.
Yeah.
It's not one of those movies where I'm sitting, I'm like, how could you like this? Really? I'm like, nah, I can understand why you like it.
Yeah, I watch it quite a bit. It's definitely one of my Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah, like so this movie's been on my radar to watch for a while now, so I'm glad I finally got a chance to sit down and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be watching it. It'll be in the rotation for a while.
I will say that I also enjoy just, visually, it was made in 1999, and I like anything that kind of makes me feel like I'm back in the 90s again anyway. So I did like it for that I was like, it's making me feel nostalgic for a time that has gone by.
Yeah, a lot more makeup rather than, people walking upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even the CG wasn't that bad either. Like the bits, like I'm always more of a prosthetics and practical effects guy, but the CG actually wasn't bad in this one for what they had.
No.
Right.
It aged well for being from 99.
Yeah. Like if it's on, I'm not gonna. Like if it's on, I won't change the channel. Wouldn't be upset. What are the overall scores there then, Dave?
26 out of 30 for Christopher. I'm at a 23 out of 30, and then you're at 18.5 out of 30.
So it's still above average.
Yeah.
And actually, it's still again, not that Rotten Tomatoes is anything to go by. Rotten Tomatoes, I think, rated it about a 68 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm a.
Is that the tomato meter or the audience meter?
I think they were relatively close, but that was the tomato meter.
Yeah. See, I always look at more like the audience meter than the tomato meter.
But I think they were about the same. Might have been. But I think this was one of those rare cases where I was about probably the same score.
Yeah, the tomato meter is 68, audience score is 70.
Yeah, so roughly the same.
Yeah.
But that's another movie under my belt, and I'm always happy to watch another movie that I've never seen before.
Yeah, anything new is always good, even if it sucks.
Yeah. Well,
we've all watched terrible movies.
And I've especially been apparently recommending a bunch of them to Dave this season.
Yes, I heard. I've been listening.
Yeah.
Found footage.
Oh yeah.
And I love found footage. He just one of those like this one's boring.
So you did hear? Did you listen to our one with Julie Feldy?
Yes.
So I won't ask you if you've seen Lake Mungo or not, unless of course you did. And
I have not.
Okay. I made that mistake. So Julie, tell me about how much you like it. Nah, that movie was boring. Damn it! I'm sorry I brought it up.
Yeah, a super high rated movie, and then on our podcast, 2 out of 3 people didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like Heredity.
Yeah,
That's.
I don't like that movie either.
I will tell you this, Dave, just as a spoiler for next season. If I do get creative control next season, that is going to be one that we're going to watch and review. So I'm just going to.
I plan on rewatching it this month just to give it a third chance. See.
I actually bought it on Amazon when it was on, during COVID when it was
in theaters. Yeah.
yeah, where there was no theaters and everything, and just because I had heard it's like the most terrifying movie of all time, and I watched it, and I'm like falling asleep. I'm like, what the hell? When's something gonna happen? It's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the scary part of it, guys? Like,
It's the because I want to do our season of second chances where we go back and like we've named a couple of movies where it's like I can't stand this movie, I can't blah blah, and I very much want to be like, well, maybe some time has passed, maybe kind of like when we reviewed Venom. And it was like, all right, some time has passed, and then it turned out not to be nearly because we've seen terrible movies now. So now that we have some under our belt, maybe it's not as bad. But I think, yeah, all three of us feel the same way about Hereditary right now, where it's like,
yeah, I still don't understand when people are like it's the most terrifying movie of all time. I'm like, how?
if you say so,
How is this terrifying?
far be it for me
Yeah.
to,
It just wasn't. That was $25 down the drain.
Yeah, it's so boring. I'm like,
far be it for me to tell you what to like, but
Yeah.
this movie's fucking
Okay.
boring. Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
only time I woke up was when that kid got her block knocked off.
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. If it wasn't for that and Tony Collette putting on like a great performance,
Yeah.
this movie would be utter garbage.
Because that scene started, that scene woke me up, and then it was immediately followed by laughter because it was the kid just doesn't tell
The
anybody.
bong.
He just goes home and goes to sleep and just leaves it for his mom to find the next morning. I was like,
Jesus.
that poor woman's getting up, getting ready for work. It's like, bye, son. I'll see you later. And then, what a horrible thing to just go in
Yeah.
your car and find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that'll have to be that'll be a review for a whole nother day. In the meantime, I want to thank you again for coming on, and we're always happy to have you come on and promote your stuff. And we're gonna hope to get a Walk in the Desert as maybe a prize package in around October time.
Yeah, as soon as I get it, I'll ship them out.
And we need to have you and Alyssa come back so we can do
Black Christmas.
Black Christmas. Yeah, come on around Christmas time.
because it was her. She said she hated it, right?
He hates it.
Well,
I am so excited that we're watching the original Black Christmas this year.
we hate the 2019.
The 2019 one. Oh god, that one's so bad.
Yeah.
And I like the. Oh, I never can remember the year.
Was it 2008?
Something like that. I like that one.
I love that cast, and I think we were both in really good moods watching that movie.
That put me in the Christmas spirit, in all honesty.
Right?
As
Yeah,
gory as
maybe
it
I'll
was.
make her suffer through all of them.
Watch all three back to back.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
have you seen the other two?
I have not because I am completely nostalgic about the first one.
I will say watch the 2019 one first, and then uplift your spirits with the one in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just move back in time, and as they get better.
All right, I'll check it out.
How about that? We've been assigning each other homework this entire season. You have until Christmas to that is your homework to watch the other
Watch
two.
Black. Yeah.
All right, I think I can do it.
And then hopefully we can like record in November or maybe December. We can have you both on, and we can be like, all right, tell us, Alyssa, how much did you love the original Black Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll love that one.
Hey, you're gonna bring that up to her, and she's gonna be like, maybe I really didn't like Body Bag Podcast. I actually
Yeah.
really didn't like hanging out with those guys.
Yeah.
No, she already told me. She's psyched.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
She's like, yeah, I'll sit through that crap.
But
I'm like,
I've never seen it, so Dave likes it,
Yeah. So.
and you love it. So we'll have somebody who loves it, somebody who loves it, somebody who hates it, and somebody who's never seen before. So that's going to be a great dynamic.
yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah. At least we know it'll be way better than watching Hanukkah.
Right.
Good God.
There's got to be a better Hanukkah horror movie out there.
There really does, because that whole is god awful.
But in the meantime, we hope to have you back around Christmas time. Hopefully, that'll be something that everybody can look forward to. An extra frosty Christmas. Yeah. I'll shut up now at that one. That was lame.
Sounds good to me. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah.
We
Appreciate you being here. Appreciate everyone out there listening. Hope you all have a good week.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to Body Bag Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave us a comment as to what you'd like to hear us review or any horror movie topics you'd like to hear us rant and rave about.
And while you're at it, you can find us on Twitter at BodyBagPod and on Instagram at BodyBagPodcast.
Thanks, and we'll see you next time.